Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Part-Time Allies Part-Time Podcast. I'm going to be your host today, Josh. Joining me on the couch is AJ.
Hi.
And interestingly enough, Jordan and Ryan aren't here today.
They're gone. They're, being patriotic.
They're being patriotic. They're celebrating Canada Day.
And we're not.
And we're recording this podcast. But hey, you know what? I wanted to be here with you guys. We're not skipping a week. We are coming at you every week, as often as we can.
Every week.
And by as often as we can, I mean once a week. However, we thought a two-man Part-Time Allies would be a little weird. We'd be like half-time allies or something. Yep. So instead, we brought in a guest. That's our other podcast.
Yeah.
So we brought in a guest, David.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, David. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
So if you're a long-time listener to Part-Time Allies.
Long-time listener.
Long-time
like
listener.
It's been like years.
By all 3 weeks. You'd know David from our emails. This is the same David who's written into our emails before.
I got his autograph. We shook hands.
That's right.
It was love at first sight.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you know what I discovered, guys? If you write in enough, they will put you on the show.
That's right.
So just keep writing those emails and you'll get in there.
It also helps if you knew me from many years before.
No.
And live like 5 minutes away. Well, like
relatively enough, relatively close by.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that.
So, David, welcome to Part-Time Allies.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
A part-time ally.
This is exciting.
I'm not sure exactly what you thought about what we did coming into this, but welcome to the studio.
It's been great. I love listening to you guys. I listen to a lot of you guys, words. When I'm doing homework during for school, and just have the podcast on, listen to your interesting discussions on a variety of things, and
yeah,
that's
good.
Us.
Cool, man.
We do that thing. That's right.
We do that. We talk about things.
Do we do that?
You talk about things.
We have
That's
a
amazing.
podcast?
We did what? Nobody told me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inform me.
Well, again, thanks for joining us. Something interesting about David, we were just chatting about this a little bit earlier, is that we're quite different in our tastes.
Yes.
However,
Yes, I'm interested in knowing what this is all about.
yeah. So we'll get to that a little bit more.
Okay.
First off, was there anything crazy news-wise that has happened this week you want to talk about?
No, but I did want to know, because we skipped out last week, is what we've been playing or watching.
Yeah. So I have just finished my second playthrough of Breath of the Wild.
Right. Okay.
That's
new stuff, Josh.
That's not a time sink.
But I'm just kidding.
I've started another playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 5. Also
Nice.
not new stuff.
Ooh.
Nice.
So
That's not new at all. Come on,
that's
man.
not new either. What is new is I actually just bought this yesterday because it just came out yesterday.
Okay.
The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
I saw a review for that, and I also saw some trailers and stuff. And it looks.
I saw the trailer one time. That was it.
I mean, I'm not. I think we
Yeah.
talked about it last week, but I'm not. Too crazy about that.
Yeah. Well, that was the first game that I think
Yeah.
we had in my household.
I think you.
Okay.
I think you said that last podcast.
Yeah. So I was super hyped to pick it up.
So it makes sense. And Tony mentioned it as well, didn't he? On his email.
That's right, he did.
Yeah, he did.
So I picked that up and it was sick.
Is it good?
It's hard.
Did you beat it already?
No.
Oh.
That game's way harder than I remember it being.
I mean, it looks like it does justice to the old.
Oh, it
Crash
totally does. It
Bandicoots.
plays the exact same.
Yeah.
A little bit more graphic fidelity. There's a few extra animations thrown in for things.
I think that adds to it, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
So is that all four? Is that 4 Crash Bandicoot games?
It's the first 3.
First 3, okay.
Yeah.
Are they long?
I don't think so.
I want to say they're about the length of a Jak and Daxter game.
Yeah. Like I
Each?
Yeah.
I remember them as a kid being long because neither my dad or I weren't good at video games. So we never beat the first one for years and years until I finally grew up enough to be able to play games competently. He would always get stuck on the Hog Wild levels. I don't know if you guys remember those. But so those games to me felt like they took years, but they probably don't. They're probably like 4-hour things.
So how much have you played?
I played almost the entirety of the first island.
Okay.
So I just beat Papu Papu. For those of you who remember Papu Papu.
No idea. Sounds like a pineapple.
He's the first boss. I remember him being much more complicated than he is, but he puts a stick on the ground and spins. So you have to jump over the stick and then jump on him. That's the boss fight.
Nice.
6-year-old me or whatever remembers it being way harder.
Yeah, no, I've had similar scenarios.
But the actual platforming is still, it's actually rewarding in how difficult it is.
Yeah, I heard.
So
I heard, and from what I got, it's got good reviews. It's got like great reviews, and
yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't think Naughty Dog puts out like top-notch everything, right?
yeah, so it's probably very polished.
Yeah, it's pretty
Very
good.
polished. Anything else you've been playing?
Nothing playing wise. Still playing Magikarp Jump, which don't play that game. It sucks.
Still playing it though. Huh?
Yeah, I'm still playing it, but don't play it,
Don't
guys.
play it. It's terrible. I actually just not video game related, but I just saw the live action Death Note trailer,
Oh,
which
yeah.
wasn't great.
Yeah.
And then it reminded me that I hadn't seen Death Note yet,
So,
Oh.
so I
What-
started watching that.
what is Death Note? Sorry, I'm
Death Note is an anime.
anime. Okay.
It's an anime about a guy who's like an overachiever in school, like one of the highest grade levels in Japan or whatever. I'm not really sure how that all works. And this notebook falls from the sky that says
Okay.
Death Note on it. And the first page has some instructions, and the instructions say more or less, if you write a name in this book, the name of the person you write will die in
Die.
what, 8 minutes or no, 45 seconds or something.
Like it's like
Jeez.
3. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And
But
then
it says.
between the time of them dying, you can write details of how the death will die,
Right.
how the death will occur, and if you don't, they'll die of heart attack.
Just die of heart attack.
Wow.
And so it's the story of how this kid starts using this power and abusing the power and
Right.
things
More or
like
less.
that.
It's very morality
Yeah.
kind of
Cool.
deal.
Sounds
It's-
good.
It is actually
It's
really
such
good.
a gripping, premise to me at least. It's just like, oh, I want to know what this guy does
Yeah, no kidding.
and how and why.
I think that's a lot of the interesting things in stories and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
when you have like the grip of understanding that
Yeah.
power is the
Yeah, we were talking about this last week a little bit in terms of anime, where anime gets to tell a lot of those stories. We're like, how do you tell that in a Western like live action
Well, you
show?
don't.
You
That
don't,
doesn't
right?
work, yeah.
Exactly. So that's one of the big reasons I love anime is that it can tell those weird stories.
Yeah.
Wait, so you haven't watched Death Note?
No,
Oh.
I've probably watched the first 3 episodes over and over again, and then just
Oh.
forget to watch the rest. I guess. So
Weird.
yeah,
'Cause
it's only,
for-
sorry.
Because for me, it's like it feels like there's a cliffhanger every single episode
Yeah.
for me. So I don't know.
I don't know. I watch I do a lot of things at the same time, and that's not the right way to live your life because you'll keep forgetting about some of them. And Death Note has been that thing for me that just keeps sliding behind. So
yeah, fair enough.
Okay, David, what have you been playing?
I actually Nier went on sale, I guess last week, I want to
yeah,
say.
Nier Automata.
Still on sale.
On Steam, and Josh was talking it up, so I said, well, you know what, I'll pick it up and see how it is. It's awesome. Love it. Platinum Games, the guys who develop it, I don't know what it is, but they know how to make a combat game.
Any notable games they made? Do you know?
So Bayonetta.
Bayonetta's
okay,
one.
is
well, yeah,
huge.
I should know that.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge personal fan of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance,
Yep.
Okay.
which total side tangent. Play that game. It's so good. The last boss is the president of the United States who was like trained as a linebacker and is invincible. It's so good. Oh, that's not even a spoiler. Like
Noted.
that game is just a thing. But yeah.
They also made what was the other one? Transformers Devastation.
So that's the good one, right?
Or
Like review wise, it was the
Review
good
wise,
one.
yeah, that's basically Transformers, but super like the '80s style Transformers, not the new style.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, I don't know what it is, but they just know how to make a game feel fun to play from a combat perspective. And yeah, it's a fantastic game. I recommend picking it up. If you're on PC though, there's questions about the port. It's not that great.
Okay. What are you playing it on?
I'm playing on PC.
Okay.
So I've had quite a few problems. There's this weird resolution bug where if you have the game at 1080p, it's not true 1080p, like it upscales 900p.
Oh.
So it looks really blurry, and you have to download a mod to fix it. But other than the port issues, it's fantastic. The bosses are awesome. Like Japanese games and just Japanese media in general just know how to create like cool villains and bosses and whatnot.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of tangent. I want to get back to Nier, but one of my favorite Japanese developers kind of making a Western style game is Dead Rising,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which I don't think we've had a chance to talk about yet on the podcast. That's one of my all time classics. The first one. I don't really like the rest of them that much. Two's all right. They kind of go downhill from there for me. But first was the best. Like the time limit gives you that sense of difficulty.
Right.
But some of the bosses in that game, oh my goodness!
I've heard they're so weird and
Yeah.
strange.
The clown. You guys know the clown?
No.
I've seen stuff. Yes.
Adam the clown. He's a clown that juggles chainsaws, right?
Okay, yeah.
And
I
the
do totally
juggling
know that, yeah.
the juggling chainsaws end up being the best weapons in the game. So like he's one of those. He's a side boss, but you have to fight him if you want the best weapon. And yeah, he's great.
I never got to play those games because it was on Xbox always. So
They're on PC now too,
Yeah, they are.
and the ports are really good.
Yeah.
Okay, must be on. They're on Steam, right?
They're probably on sale too
Yeah.
because
I
Steam
think-
summer sale.
I think they're on for like $5 right now.
I got other games to play.
You know what? I have the same problem, but I just keep buying games, and I'm like, oh, I'll eventually play
I haven't
this.
bought anything. The only thing I bought was for a friend.
I'm proud of you.
I bought DLC for a game and I forgot what the DLC was.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're in the Steam.
That's right.
Steam Train.
The Steam hole in my wallet
Yeah,
is leaking.
exactly.
So is that everything you've been playing, or just Nier?
Just playing Nier. I've been playing Killing Floor 2.
It's on my wish list.
It's fantastic. The summer sideshow is what they call it.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't played Killing Floor 2, it's a horde-based game, but it's completely different from like a Left 4 Dead.
Mm-hmm.
So there's there's all these sorts of different perks. So you got like a gunslinger who has like dual handguns, Commando who's your assault rifle,
Got the medic guy.
medic guy, yeah, Berserker who's the sword wielding, mace wielding as well, and yeah, it plays completely different.
It goes in waves. I
Yeah,
believe, right?
yeah, it's a wave based game.
Because I played the first one.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it's the first one or the second one, but so PS4, if you have the PlayStation Plus, has 2 free games every month.
yeah.
Killing Floor, either 1 or 2 is one of the free ones.
It's 2. Killing
It's
Floor 2
2?
is
Wow.
on PS4.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's if you can still get it, it's a lot of fun.
There's
Yeah,
just something
it's-
about that game that I like, and I don't know why.
It's completely different from like a normal zombie game.
Yeah,
Like
I
for
mean,
me, like
there's that horde and wave based gameplay, and it's not original. Like
No, it's
there's
not.
games like that, but for some reason that game, I don't know.
I think
when I
it's-
played the first one, it was amazing.
yeah, I think it's in part due to the gunplay.
Yeah,
Like all the guns feel fantastic and they're all unique in their own way. The same with the classes, right?
probably the classes too. That's
Yeah, they all feel different.
yeah, but yeah, I'll probably play that. So you've been playing that?
Yeah, a lot of that.
Anything else? Like anything embarrassing you've been playing?
no,
Magikarp Jump.
no, I've not played Magikarp Jump. Just Nier and Killing Floor 2. Yeah.
Anything you're watching or just playing?
Anything I'm watching?
Yeah.
I started season 5 of Orange Is the New Black.
Okay. Wow. I tried to watch that. Couldn't really get
No, me
into it
neither.
for some reason.
It's okay.
It's an acquired taste, I heard.
Yeah, like the first 2 seasons are really good.
Okay.
They were really funny, and like it's funny in a dark way, sort of, so
Yeah.
to speak. But now the latest or the newer seasons, like season 3 and up, are super serious, and I'm not a huge fan of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not what I got into the show
Yeah,
for.
I think I watched the first season, but I completely forget about
Yeah,
it. So
it's
it's just something that kind of blew up and then I don't know.
and then kind of fizzled out.
So did
yeah.
you watch it just because you're that far? Or?
Yeah, I kind of got stuck into I'm in it this
Okay.
far, might as well watch it.
Oh man! So are they ending it anytime soon, or?
I hope so because it needs to end.
I hope so.
Yeah, after what happened with me and Dexter, like I'm so willing to jump out of shows now if I don't think they're good.
You know that's fair. I did that with The Walking Dead. I
Yeah,
just
good
couldn't.
call.
I
Good
could
call.
not do it anymore.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Didn't
Right
we?
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
What about you, AJ?
Oh my gosh, me.
Yeah, you.
Well, I wanted to talk about last week, but I got Last Guardian. Well, I said I was playing Last Guardian, but I beat it.
That's right.
I beat that game a week ago, I guess, and it was really nice just to beat it.
Do we want to impromptu spoiler cast a little bit?
Maybe, sure.
Because I'd love to
I don't know
talk
if
about
you
that
want
game.
to. Does Dave have you played Last of Us? Or not Last of Us? Have you played Last of Us though?
No, I have not. I've not.
Play that game. Have you played The Last Guardian?
I am PC only, so
Yeah.
if you have spoilers, it's totally
So
fine.
Shadow
by me.
Colossus as well. Yeah, I've never played that.
Never played it.
Okay.
I used to have PS2 and PS3, but just have PC ever since.
Makes sense.
Fair.
Well, we could. Why
let's
not?
Talk, let's talk a little bit about it. So,
A little bit. So.
we didn't really prep this, so I don't have like that perfect time block for you guys today. But if you're planning on playing Last Guardian, should we do that? No. You know what? Just give me a couple seconds so I can set that up.
Okay, so like I said, I played it and I beat it in like 4 days. Like it's something I was like, that's slow. It was slow because Josh said it was slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the moment it starts picking up, you're like, oh, I can't put this down.
Yeah.
I gotta know it's ramping up. It's ramping up. I gotta go.
It
And I
knows
beat
it knows how to do action really well. Okay, so what we're gonna do is the same thing we did for Attack on Titan last week. We're gonna talk about Last Guardian for exactly 10 minutes.
Let's make it 5.
Okay, exactly 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so
I don't need to talk
five
about
goes fast.
Okay, 10. All right, sure.
10. So exactly 10 minutes. You'll hear a clap when it starts, and you'll hear another clap when it ends. So when you hear the first clap, you can use your podcast app to skip exactly 10 minutes, and we'll be good to go. Okay? AJ, do you want to do the clap for me?
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
All right. It's
Okay.
The Last Guardian.
Oh my goodness. The feeling of movement that Trico has is insane. Like there's a segment in the last kind of quarter of the game where you're jumping between two buildings to climb higher and higher, like two towers. You remember that?
I do.
Oh my goodness. Like I don't know. Like I do work in computer science, and like that was just impressive. Like the however they programmed that behind the scenes was so
Like
cool.
just how how he moved, you mean? Just like
yeah, just all
how
the pieces.
real he felt?
Yeah, because so they purposely programmed the AI for him to not really listen to you.
Yeah,
And as you build the bond over the game, he's like a dog, right? So he
Right.
kind of comes to trust you.
Yeah.
And it just felt so good. Like as a pet owner myself, it really struck those chords for me of like, oh yeah, this is like when, you know, my cat's on the couch and trying to eat my pizza, and I'm like, get off the couch, cat. Like,
Yep.
and he doesn't listen to you because he wants to eat the pizza, right? Like it has a lot of that similar vibe going to it. And I thought they did a great
No,
job.
I think they definitely did the great job for pacing in terms of, yeah, the beginning was slow, but you know, your relationship with Trico is not very strong as well. So
Yeah.
and you can definitely see that during the game.
Yeah. You once Trico starts saving you from like weird situations after you saved him a few times, or the way their bond develops after the segments where Trico gets captured in that cage and goes insane.
Right.
It was like, I don't know what it is, like a brainwashing cage.
Right.
The thing about these games is they're not very overt, right? Like you don't know exactly what's
No,
happening.
you still don't. In the ending, it doesn't really reveal too much either.
No.
Still, like
It's
there's still
so-
a lot of questions.
Sorry, it's one of those games where you kind of have to make up the story yourself, or that
A
how
little
it
bit.
ends.
A little
Sort
bit, yeah.
of.
It's
Okay.
it's up to your interpretation.
Yeah.
So the biggest part or lore part of that game was in the middle, or like just not near the end, but it's kind of near the end, but kind of in the middle, I think, where if you finally get a cutscene.
Hmm.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cutscene of Trico stealing the boy.
So in the beginning, you're like, you have like, you know, Trico, and like he's in like caged or whatever, and then you get him out of like the beak cage,
Mhm.
and you get him out of his chains, and then you don't know why he's there, and then it shows you that cutscene. I remember like, oh, there's a cutscene, and it shows you Trico going in, grabbing the boy, and then leaving,
Mhm.
and then getting shocked by lightning.
Yeah, I
think it
think he
was.
gets struck by lightning, and then they both crash into the cave where the game starts.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, and then the headless knights that you fight during the game, like pick them up and then drag them there and lock them up.
Mhm.
I don't know why they did that. Still,
So, okay, this is my interpretation of what's going on.
Okay.
The headless knights. So, from what I understand, and this is kind of revealed at the end, is that
Yeah.
this is a factory
Yeah.
to feed the guardians.
yeah,
As the name tries to get you to imply, the last guardian. Trico is not in fact the last guardian. There are multiple of them.
yeah. There's multiple guardians.
So this is a city where these beasts fly around, and their main sustenance is humans.
Okay.
And throughout the game, you're feeding these beasts these barrels.
Okay, the moment I found that out, oh my gosh.
Yeah, the last like main set piece of the game is you're on this roof of this like processing plant, and one of the beasts, who's not your bird, flies in and drops a human into this processor,
Ooh.
And then
and it like grinds it up, and then
drops a barrel.
and the little barrel pops out.
The thing was too is like Trico gets hungry during the game, and he kind of just sits there and he won't go until you find the barrel. So it makes you like do some finding.
Yeah.
And then you feed him it, and then at the very end of the game, you're like, I just fed him humans the whole time,
like 30.
Yeah.
like 30 humans,
Yeah, it's
and I was like, oh,
that part was pretty impactful.
crazy. That was crazy.
So yeah, my interpretation of it was it's some lost society where somebody had set the guardians up, because the guardians, or the mystical robot men, like the headless
Knights. Yeah.
because the guardians obviously won't eat them,
Yeah.
and to somehow continue the process of keeping these things alive to guard this city. But from what I understand, the actual inhabitants of the city aren't there anymore.
No.
Like it's long extinct, but the cycle of keeping these beasts alive is still going. And I thought that was really cool.
But the beak things, the cages on their heads, is that because the moment it gets taken off, they seem fine.
Yeah, so
I think they're taking control of these beasts.
yeah, I think they're trying to turn them into war machines.
Yeah.
Because they also show briefly in the game, and I think in 2 segments, you have the shield. That this shield, it's kind of like the shield in the original Legend or 3D Legend of Zelda games, where you can reflect the light.
Yeah.
And when the bird sees when Trico sees the light, his
Shocks it.
his tail like comes up, and then Darth Sidious shocks wherever you're pointing the light. It's really weird. So they set them up to be like these siege animals almost that are controlled. And then I guess when the headgear breaks off, they're not controlled anymore.
So the end boss is like this orb. It's really strange. It's like this really like ominous orb.
It's kind of reminded me of Pharaoh Fluid.
And it was
a
like,
bit.
and I think that was the sentient being, and that was like the mind behind all of it, from what I've read.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, like maybe it's
that's what I've read, and like that's the
that makes
sentient
sense.
being, and like that's what is controlling that city,
Interesting.
controlling the Headless Knights, and so he like those creatures probably lived amongst around or whatever, and so he took control of them. So the Headless Knights put all the things on them, so he can control all the Tricos. So then they come in and feed him. So they feed all or put them in barrels. Or whatever.
they're feeding him too.
I think so.
I hadn't thought about it like that. I thought
think so.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. Yeah,
I think though it's still pretty loosey goosey.
yeah. It's like Shadow of the Colossus, where at the end of that game you just turn into a giant. Spoilers for Shadow of the Colossus. You turn into a giant demon and just start killing people. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, but I like that. You're like, oh man, I've been doing not exactly doing wrong, but
Yeah.
I mean at the end of the game, you beat the boss or whatever. Trico gets pretty banged up, and his wings heal again because during the game his wings are pretty damaged.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of flies off after getting beaten by a bunch of other Tricos.
Mm-hmm.
And then he flies the boy back to his village, drops him off, and then
They shoot him a bunch with arrows.
kind of shoot him a bunch, and then the boy's like, leave. And so he leaves, and you think you'll never see him again. And then it cuts, and I thought it was going to be end. I thought that was the end. And then it opens up again, because I didn't think it was going to be a happy ending, but kind of it was.
Yeah, he has a little Trico family.
So, he has a little Trico family. So, at the end, it shows that he's grown up. The boy's grown up. And then he finds his shield again, and then it zooms off into the sunset, and then zooms in first person going through the caves and stuff where you've been before, and then goes to the little cave, and then there's Trico.
Yep.
And then I think it's the other good Trico girl.
Well, because so throughout that game, there's almost for those of you who played Dark Souls 2, there's a character that they kind of screwed up, but he was called the Pursuer.
Right.
And he was a character who was supposed to show up throughout the game and kind of antagonize you. It was like a boss fight you weren't ready for.
Right.
So in The Last Guardian, I think about a third of the way through, maybe, you see another Guardian for the first time. And it's super, it's way above you, and you can totally miss it if you're not looking for it, and it just, jumps between two buildings. Yeah. And you're kind of like, oh, that's weird. And then, oh, man, this thing just becomes vicious and starts chasing you down and attacking your Guardian.
But it has the helmet thing on.
Yeah, it has the helmet on.
So you know it's evil.
And then one of the last encounters you have with it is it falling through that cathedral, I think. And you don't see it again after that, but you do see the helmet break.
Yeah.
And then I kind of forget.
And at the end, when Trico's flying the boy back on the side, you see that one.
That's right. Yeah,
side.
that's right. That's right.
And I guess it might be a girl, or they're both asexual. I don't know how they produce, but they have babies.
I don't know how Last Guardian.
So it was a happy ending.
Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah,
sure,
it was really nice.
No, it was a happy ending,
despite all the weird stuff. Well, that game goes places, but
I think it definitely was an experience, just like I thought it was going to be, and it was. I'm really glad.
It's just like Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah. It's an experience.
They put those two games together, basically.
Yeah, they have the climbing mechanics of Shadow of the Colossus with the more story-driven, exploration-based gameplay of Ico.
Yeah, tag along. With the creature. All right, well.
Yeah.
That was about it. Do we 10 minutes?
We have 55 seconds to
55 seconds.
See? Perfect.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was good. I mean, for a rating, I would say, I think I like Shadow Colossus way more. Still.
Yes.
But
so
I think
let's do the rating like this. Have you played Ico?
No.
Okay, I haven't either.
That's the thing.
So we're gonna have to. If Shadow of the Colossus is a 10, what is Last Guardian?
8.
8.
8. I think it's just the controls. I mean, Shadow Colossus controls weren't like crazy.
No, I think you could describe those games as floaty.
They're floaty, but I feel like Shadow Colossus was better. I don't know. Maybe it was just.
I liked the Killing the Colossus gameplay wise better.
Yeah, me too.
And the atmosphere I thought was much more sinister.
It was a lot more sinister.
But yeah, I'd give it an 8 as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it an 8, and then Shadow Colossus is masterpiece for me.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna end the spoiler segment right now. So if you're hearing this, we are out of Last Guardian spoilers. We are officially not talking about that game anymore. You can tune back in and be safe, and we're going to resume the show. So before we go any farther and before we forget, I want to talk a little bit more about Nier with David.
Sure.
Yeah.
So a little bit of backstory for Nier, and this is explained to you fairly early on, so this isn't a spoiler, but Nier is a game that you have to beat multiple times.
Mhm.
This is something I've warned you about as well.
Yes, you have.
Oh.
The game has 26 endings.
Yeah, it's weird.
So 5 of the endings are canon. The endings, there's 26 because there's one for each letter of the alphabet. So 5 of the endings are canon, endings A, B, C, D, and E.
Mhm.
And the rest of the endings are kind of joke endings, or like endings you'll get if you do a weird fail state. So you have not beaten you've not gotten through a complete one playthrough so
No.
far. So you don't have any of the A, B, C, D, or E endings yet.
No, I do not.
Okay. But on the car ride here, we talked about how you do have some endings.
Yeah, I've got a couple of weird ones.
Wait, so how long is this game? Is it short then?
Not really. It's so I'm gonna try and teeter lightly here.
Yeah.
The first couple playthroughs I would say are like 15 hours, depending on how many side quests you do.
It's short.
15 hours, 15 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours, 20 minutes.
Okay.
I think are how I'd gauge the playthroughs.
I guess. I don't know. I've only about 9
Yeah.
hours in.
So
So,
yeah, I don't want to spoil how any of that works or whatever, but it's a pretty long game. And then if you want to go through and get all of the the joke endings, there's a lot of hunting you have to do. So,
Interesting.
for example, David, can you tell me about a couple of the joke endings you've gotten?
the couple of joke endings I got. Okay, so there's this one ending that I didn't realize that would happen when I was doing it. But basically how it works is you've got your skills are basically like plug-in chips. So if you have a set bit address for a chip, say attack up will take.
Because you're an Android, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
right.
you're an Android, and so for example, you have 30 plug-in slots.
Yeah.
Right. And then, like David said, an attack chip will take up
8 bits or something.
8 or whatever. Right.
Yeah. So there is one ending that you can do where you have this chip called the OS chip.
Okay.
And if you pull that out, you actually die and get an ending. So stupid me not realizing what I was doing was I had 2 of them. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll just sell one and see what happens. And I ended up selling both of them because they wouldn't just let me sell one, and I died and got the ending.
Okay.
Yeah, because the game is a masterful, and you'll see this more as you play, but it does some really neat things of tying the UI into the gameplay experience. And one of those ways is it has the visual representation of your abilities as the character are these upgraded chips you can find to plug into yourself. So you can have different builds, and you can have
That's
a
cool.
movement speed up chip and a sound detecting chip or whatever, right? But at the very bottom of your chip list, there's always the OS chip that's plugged in, and it has a little warning on it that says if you unplug this, you'll die. And you totally
See,
die.
I'm not a very observant gamer, so I just kind of oh, well, I'll just sell it and it'll be fine. And then I died. I'm like, oh, well, this is interesting.
Yeah, and it's taking up valuable room, right? You could plug an attack chip in there.
Well,
if you
I was like,
wanted.
well, it's 50. I can get 50 gold for it. So I mean,
That's funny. That little queue of oh, it's 50 gold.
yeah. Well, relative in the game, 50 gold is like nothing.
I know it's not, but well, it was early on in the game too. So I'm
yeah.
like, okay, so I can get 50 gold and buy something perhaps.
Yeah.
And I died. And
You get an achievement for it?
Did I get an achievement for it?
You might.
I think I did.
Probably.
You might. Something. Okay. Do I want to talk about this yet?
No.
I think I did.
Probably not. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, there are some pretty good achievements in that game. What else was I going to ask you? Oh, how are you finding the combat so far?
I love it. Like I said, Platinum Games just knows how to make a
Yeah.
combat game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It just feels fun to play.
So it's like Bayonetta, kind of like Devil May Cry.
Yeah, it's one of the
It's way less combo-y than Devil May Cry.
yeah.
Okay.
There's basically 2 attack or 3 attack buttons, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. Like a weak attack and then a strong attack and
Okay,
then
yeah.
a
Pretty basic.
projectile. So pretty simple, but 3 buttons and it feels fantastic.
And is there a combo system at all?
No,
Or
no.
It's just kind of that's it.
So there kind of is, and it's hidden in a way where they don't really overtly tell you how to use it. But each weapon has a combo associated to it.
Right.
So one of the starting swords you have is a katana, right? And the combo for it is light, heavy, and that's how you get like its combo out. But you can switch which weapon is your primary weapon. So if you have like so my weak attack button can be my like little sword, and my strong attack weapon can be like a huge axe, right? But you can flip the huge axe to your weak attack button, and the sword to your strong attack button. So then you're doing like little pokes with your big axe, and then like bigger wide slashes with your small sword.
Interesting.
And then that axe has its own combo set, so it has a different set to get its move. But it's not very complicated.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, like you said, it doesn't really explain it to you.
No.
Is it difficult?
I found it difficult until I upgraded evade distance.
Not really. I don't find it too bad.
Okay.
Mind you, I'm not very good at games.
Okay.
So maybe I'm just, I don't know.
I've heard it's actually difficult for a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't find it too bad. It's certainly challenging in some respects, but it's not like you're not gonna. It's not like a Dark Souls, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. It does if you're good at multitasking, I feel like this is a good game for you because it combines two genres that aren't normally combined, which is the combat style of Platinum games, so like combo based melee combat with a bullet hell.
Okay.
I don't. I guess in some cases, yeah.
Like the carnival boss, for example.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I guess you could call it that. Like, I don't know. For me, it's more like you don't really see a character action game with RPG elements.
That's true.
So I don't see the bullet hell too much, but I can see where you can feel that.
Yeah. And it gets increased the farther you go.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Like, has your character ever been hacked?
Yes.
And that's like where you go into that little mini game.
Yes, yeah.
That one is a lot. That mini game you have to play to hack is a lot more bullet helly.
That's true. Yes, it is.
Than the rest of the
so
combat.
what I want to know is why you're saying it, or why it has so much praise, and what grips you. Is it the way the combat is? Is it the story? Is it you know what I mean? Like, what's the main grip, and
So,
what made you say this is an amazing game?
I'm going to tell you right now, David and mine's answers are going to be different.
Okay.
And that's just a factor of you haven't beaten the game yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because the game is great. And I think something that you'll agree with is one of the things that makes it amazing is the way it blends its elements.
Yes.
Its music, its combat, its story.
I've heard.
They all mesh together really well. So if you want to touch on that.
From a first impressions to
For me, I like the combat. Really enjoy that. The music is fantastic, but I also like the sort of the AI, or not the AI, but the sort of sentient machine look that it has, right? Like questioning whether a machine has emotions and whatnot. Sort of it's not new,
okay.
but it's certainly interesting.
I think we've touched on that a little.
Yeah, a little bit of backstory there. So there
intrigues me.
are no humans in the game,
Right.
right? The humans talk to you over radio because the conceit of the story is the humans are based on the moon right now, and something happened to the Earth. We're not quite sure what it was, but it was invaded by what are called machines. And so machines are they're industrial looking, they're like bulky and kind of weird, and the humans have developed what are called the androids to go and stop the machines. So the androids are very human-like. They're the characters you play as. They kind of seem like they have human emotion, even though they think they're not allowed to a little bit. There's a little... You get into that more.
So I think I understand now that there's that gray line is that they're machine versus machine, and that morality of should we be fighting?
Well, yeah, too, and like because the androids think they're better than the machines. There's sort of that. Well, should machines have? Because there's certain segments where the machines like are expressing emotion, like love and compassion, and the one character 9S is questioning like, how can a machine feel something, right? And sort of that goes out
like
through
that.
the game.
You know what?
But there's a special irony there of like they also know
You're pushing
their
me now.
androids.
You're,
Dude.
Like I said, it's nothing new from like a sci-fi standpoint.
no, but I like that.
It's cool. Like it always makes you question.
Like I said, my favorite movie. Some of my favorite movies are Her and
Yeah.
Ex Machina. So
Yeah.
You would. I'm telling you, man, you'd love this game.
Yeah, you would.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so for me, I'd say the story is the strongest point of it.
Okay.
But you need to get all the way through to see the story
sure.
to know
Did
why.
you completely beat it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the way through.
Wow. Like
That-
everything.
That game does an ending in a way I've never seen a game do an ending before. Like it, Hideo Kojima is the closest kind of. So Yoko Taro is the guy who made this game, and as far as like Japanese developers go, him and Hideo Kojima, who's responsible for the Metal Gear series, are like creme de la creme for me, right? And the reason they are is because they subvert your expectations.
I got that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you know, in oh gosh, I think it's Metal Gear Solid 2, where it's like you're fighting a boss who's mind controlling you.
Yeah.
And the way you get out of the mind control is by like unplugging your controller from port 1 and plugging it into port 2.
I think that's 1.
That might be 1. Yeah.
That's,
I get a lot of those things blurry. And
that's Psycho
backwards.
Mantis, isn't it?
Yeah, Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
Mantis.
So this game does something kind of similar.
I like that, the fourth wall break kind of deal.
And it does it in a way where I didn't think it could be done in our day and age, with like games being on PC now and different like you can't control a lot of those elements. But oh man, this game does some cool stuff that I'm not going to talk about here. But get ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You keep talking it up, so I'm waiting for the inevitable.
Oh yeah.
Explosion of excitement.
So
I'm
good.
trying to beat one game here, so maybe I'll pick it. Well, no, like I'm playing another game, so maybe if I beat that, you're pushing. You guys are, convincing me a little bit here.
We are selling it hard.
Yeah.
But real quick, the other game I've been playing is Pillars of Eternity.
Oh yeah.
I picked that up again. Like I picked up as in I started playing it again because I played it a long time ago, and I couldn't get into it, just like Dragon Age. And they're like kind of like the same kind of game. And then I just started playing it again, and I'm like 40 hours in.
So is it like a JRPG?
No, it's not JRPG. It's like Baldur's Gate. It's like the old D&D party based, school fantasy.
Okay.
Kind of like if
Like a Final Fantasy?
No.
Oh.
It's like isometric party tactical.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tactical
Okay.
where you can pause the game and then like what person attacks what creature, and then
Right.
There's also AI. You can change all the AI for that. and
I
stuff
think
like
the
that.
genre is CRPG is what they
Is that
call
what
it.
it is?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know, but I'm a huge fan.
I
so.
totally have. I've never played any of those.
They're
games.
hard, man. They're very tactical.
They're very hard.
They're very pause and play.
Would you classify the original 2 Fallout games as this?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, I guess I would.
Okay.
I haven't played them, but I can see where you're.
It's
Probably
very much the pause
similar.
and play. Pause, do all your skills, allot your guys to what person, and then it's very like a loot based, story driven, like classic RPG.
Cool.
I've been playing that, and I got the furthest I've ever been, and I'm trying to get through that, and I'm on Act 2, and there's only 4 acts, so I'm getting through it.
Nice.
I'm trying to beat it, and then I can open up to other games, just like Nier.
There you go.
From what I've heard, Pillars of Eternity will take you a long
I
time.
know.
A long time. But that's good though.
At least you got a lot of game to go through.
Well, I mean, I beat Dragon Age in 50, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're at 40 and only in Act 2 in Pillars, so.
Well, then again, that was for my other playthroughs.
Oh,
so
okay.
actually, I might be like 20.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I think
Gotcha.
we're okay.
Cool.
I think we're okay. I think 50 would be good.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with long games.
No. nothing wrong.
Any movies coming up, particularly next week that we're
Next
excited
week?
about?
Yes. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's coming out. Right now, it's got some really good reviews.
Yeah, it's got some great reviews.
94% on Rotten Tomatoes. What? 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and what else was I say? It's got some really great reviews. People are saying it's like one of the best Spider-Man movies
Interesting.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. I've heard similar things.
So I mean, I don't want to really go into with like super high expectations, because the one thing is if Marvel messed this up, because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero.
Mine too.
If they messed this up, I would have been so angry, because the whole hubbub with Sony and them messing the Spider-Man universe up, and then be like, Marvel, you know what, we can do this together. And then Marvel be like, okay, we can do this. And if they messed that up, I would have been so angry, because it's my favorite superhero. But it's looking good.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic as well.
I might actually go see it now that it's.
Well, because let's do some background. I don't think you're a big Marvel fan, are you?
I am in one sense. The problem I have is I kind of got marveled out.
Okay.
Um,
I'm a huge
Fair.
Marvel buff, so.
Fair.
because it's just movie after movie after movie, and the last actual Marvel movie I saw was Winter Soldier. So that
Okay.
tells you about when I got marveled out.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I love the original Spider-Man. Even the one with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
That one was really good.
Yep.
No, I love
feel
that
like
too.
The first Spider-Man of any of the reboots has been really good, I thought.
Yeah.
I loved, since my favorite superhero, I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. I think the weakest ones were Spider-Man 3 and the new Spider-Man 2,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Those ones were just terrible. I still like them, I guess, but they're pretty
You
bad.
went there for Spider-Man and got
Yeah,
disappointed.
exactly. And
Got the electric dude instead.
Yeah. Oh.
yeah, and I mean, like the very first,
Ace-
Tobey Maguire
Ace Master.
did it fine. Like he did great. Tobey Maguire did great.
Yeah.
I think what for me it was Tobey Maguire was a good Peter Parker, not a good Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and then Andrew Garfield was a bad Peter Parker and a good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, them trying to portray Andrew Garfield as like the
Yeah.
nerd was
That was
so
bad.
funny.
Like no,
I
there's
couldn't
no
even,
way.
I couldn't like once I saw he was cast as not Tobey Maguire, he was cast as Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't.
So
I can't.
So I'm glad that they're taking a different direction in terms of it's a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Holland's not really a kid. He's like my age-ish, so I guess I'm a kid still. But I'm glad they're doing that. So it's new and fresh, and he's not like, he's an actual kid and not
Yeah.
like a 30-year-old trying to portray
Yeah.
a high schooler.
Like a 16-year-old or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm glad they're actually doing that.
Yeah.
And it seems like, he's funny. In Civil War, he was really funny.
Mm.
And he seems all right. So I'm super excited
Mm-hmm. It should be
for
good.
that.
Should be good.
And also came out a couple days ago, Baby Driver.
So I'm kind of confused as to what this
Okay.
movie is, but I've heard it's great.
Yeah, it's got 97%
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes.
I checked it before I got here, and I was like,
And I'm going to watch
97%.
that tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I'm going to watch that tomorrow. I'm super excited because Edgar Wright, if you've seen the Edgar Wright trilogy of Shaun the Dead,
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, I love Edgar Wright. So, this is the next movie. I don't think any of his actors from those movies are coming into this movie. So it's not really
okay.
a trilogy anymore. Trilogy loosely
Mhm.
because they call it the Edgar Wright trilogy. But
Mhm.
this one is just his new one. So I'm really excited
Cool.
about that. And I mean, basically, it's about a dude, I think. From what I think, it's about a dude who something went wrong with him.
He has tinnitus, or I don't know how you
Something
pronounce
like
it, right?
that. I'm not sure.
It's
but
the disorder where you hear white noise all the time,
I
or you
think
like
that it
hear a
was.
ringing or whatever.
so in order to block that out, he listens to music.
Right.
And he does his work listening to music.
Mm.
And he's a driver.
Okay.
And I mean,
Interesting.
from what I know is like he's in, he does his work in a bad area. So he does like hitman stuff or whatever,
Yeah.
or drives hitmen around. I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
But he gets in the wrong kind of business, but he's good at what he does, and people underestimate him because he's strange. And I think
Right.
I don't think he really talks that often because he always has his headphones
Yeah.
in. So I think that's what. But I think from the trailer, it's so stylish, it's so flashy, and it's so. It seems generic at the time when I was watching. I was like, this seems like really weird and generic, but at the same time, it wasn't.
Hmm.
I don't know what it was. Something about it.
Is it supposed to be more serious than Edgar Wright's other stuff?
I'm not sure. I think it is, but with a dash of fun, which most
Yeah,
of
most
his
Edgar Wright,
movies
yeah.
are.
Cool.
No.
And I don't know if you knew, but he also, speaking of Marvel, he was also like the director for Ant-Man. I don't know if you guys knew that,
Interesting.
but
I
he
did
was
not
the
know that.
director of Ant-Man, and then he got pushed out of it for some reason.
Yeah.
And someone else took director.
Edgar Wright just did an AMA on Reddit.
Yeah.
I was reading through it,
Yeah.
and somebody said some comment that I loved, and it was, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was, Edgar Wright loved Ant-Man, but Ant-Man didn't love Edgar Wright, or something like that.
But I definitely saw some Edgar Wright flavor in Ant-Man.
Hmm.
So if you haven't seen it, but I'm really excited. So I'm super hyped for it. I hope it's really good. For me, and as a graphic designer, like the graphic design, that movie looks really good. Like just the cohesiveness,
Yeah.
like the red and like retro. It's so cool.
Right on.
Anything else? Movie wise
For me, David?
recently?
All I know is Despicable Me 3 is coming out, and
Yeah.
I just,
Are you
Great.
are you a Steve Carell fan?
I am.
They're milking it now.
They are milking the cow dead.
Oh
They are.
I love Steve Carell. Him in The Office is probably his like top
Oh, yeah.
performance for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I just can't stand.
First Despicable Me was good.
Yeah. that's
Yeah.
fine.
The first two were decent.
And then they just kind of,
Then they did the third one.
and then they did they did Minions. first.
Yeah.
Well, that became a meme. So
It's unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
that's
Minions, then fidget spinners.
oh boy.
The two worst things in
What is
the
this world coming to?
I don't know.
yeah.
Do you guys want to chat about the Jumanji trailer?
Oh my
really
gosh.
quick?
Okay, so yeah, coworkers, or was it a coworker? I think it was a coworker was talking about it with me. Oh no, I was with friends yesterday. Yeah, and they were talking about Jumanji. I was like, wait, what? What about this Jumanji? And they told me what was it about. I was like, why would they remake this? And then they told me the cast. I was like, what the
who's
heck's
in it?
going on?
It looks so bad. Okay,
So yeah, Jack Black,
Oh.
The Rock.
The Rock,
I don't. Oh,
Terry Crews.
no. The short guy.
Who is it?
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking
Oh
about.
my goodness.
Oh, we're bad at this.
Um,
Anyway,
No, you know who he is.
I know exactly who you're
Short, funny guy. He's in all those like not great comedy movies. Gosh, what is his name? Anyways, and then it's also
girl.
forgot her name. She is one of the companions from Doctor Who, from when it was. I'm so bad with names. Oh my goodness, the Doctor before the current one. She was one of the companions.
I don't know who that is.
Oh wow, and she's like one of my favorite actors too. Why can't I remember her name?
You're the worst.
Wow,
That's why.
she plays Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, yes, her.
Okay. Wow.
It's okay. Let's
This
move
is
on.
terrifying. Anyways, yeah, that trailer looked terrible.
I did not look at the trailer.
Oh, it
I
looks
was
so
going
bad.
to. I was going to.
It's not even a board game. It's a video game.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
what I heard.
like-
God.
Check one. You got that wrong, guys.
So I think this is gonna go on the Pixels route. You know how Pixels
Yeah,
went?
exactly.
Oh yeah. It
I
totally
have
is.
I have the same vibe. Did they both have Jack Black in it?
No, Pixels had Adam Sandler, and I think
Okay.
Kevin James was also in
Well,
it.
I'd rather watch Jack Black movie than an Adam
Yeah.
Sandler movie.
Yes.
So, you know, it has some hope because Jack Black is not gonna like Jack Black, and
I
I
didn't
also
even-
like The Rock. So,
I didn't even realize they were remaking
but
Jumanji.
I'm not gonna watch this. It seems like a straight to Netflix.
Yeah, the first one was so
Whatever.
like it wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen, but it was entertaining.
Pixels?
No, not Pixels,
Okay.
Jumanji.
Oh yeah, Jumanji.
Okay. So
What
here-
year is this?
Here's the cast: Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart,
Oh, that's
Oh.
his name. Yep.
Jack Black, and Karen Gillian.
Oh, okay.
Karen Gillian. Yeah.
Yeah, who she's awesome. But
Oh yeah.
So the way the trailer goes is it's four kind of teenagers, right?
Okay. Yeah. Take me through it.
It's four kind of teenagers, two girls, two guys. The main guy character is kind of like a thin, nerdy guy, whatever, right? The other male character is like the jock high school football kind of guy, and then the two girls, there's like the like classic pretty girl, like valley girl accent, like oh my god, like that sort of stuff, right? And then the other girl is kind of more of a shy, not very self-confident.
Did the trailers like try to like seem like or set up to seem like that's who they were, like the actors?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. So
get
when
it. I
when
get
they
it.
when they jump into the Jumanji game,
Yeah.
right? All four of them take the persona that you don't think they'd take. So like the like pretty girl is Jack Black.
Okay.
The main nerdy character becomes The Rock. The football quarterback guy becomes, I don't know, Kevin Hart, but I don't know like what his character is. He's like a
Okay.
weird explorer dude. And then the kind of shy girl becomes Karen Gillian,
Yeah.
who's like very like not very scantily clad, but pretty scantily clad. So
Okay.
like her scene is like looking at herself, going like, "Oh, I would never wear this." I don't know.
Okay.
The trailer does not look great, but
It's a B movie.
oh yeah, it's. I wonder if it's gonna be another one of those ones because you remember when Baywatch came out
Yeah.
and the Rock was PO'd about how not well it was being
Yeah.
received.
Mhm.
I've got a feeling this is gonna be another one of those.
Be another
Yeah. I mean,
Baywatch.
the cast itself. It's funny when you look at some cast and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Jack Black's funny, but I don't think he works too well in that kind of movie.
No.
No, I don't think so either. I love his movies. I love Jack Black movies.
Yeah, like I don't know. He kind of like went into like the Tenacious D route where he's like super
Yeah.
profanities everywhere. And I don't think he can go into a more.
No, he can't. No.
I can't picture Jack Black in a more like PG movie
Yeah.
because I'm assuming it's like
Oh, yeah.
PG-13 or something. Yeah,
It must be.
Yeah.
They have to go that way.
And why would they, take a franchise? Well, it's not really a franchise, but take a classic. If you can call Jumanji a classic, I wasn't the biggest fan.
I'd love to be a fly on the room of that board meeting where it's like, what weird franchise can we reboot?
Let's reboot Jumanji. but instead of a board game,
it'll be a video game because that's what the kids love is the video games.
and then let's get all these cool cast people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
kids love The Rock.
So, I mean, we'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be like a 50%
Yeah.
around that area. I don't think it's going to be pixel bad. I have a feeling it's not going to be pixel bad.
Well, I mean, it's got one thing going for it. It doesn't have Adam Sandler in it.
That's true. So there you go.
Oh, poor Adam.
It's already going to be better than pixels.
You know what? Adam Sandler did it to himself, okay?
Yeah, he did.
Like, he deserves all the hate that he gets.
It's true.
All right, let's move on.
No more Adam Sandler bashing.
Yeah.
So, AJ, I'm
Yes.
told that you have a story for us.
Oh, I do. Sort of. Kinda.
Okay.
So I'm going to take you back. Going to take you back when I, not just started playing video games, but back when I played a lot of MMORPGs with my good friend Jordan.
Uh-huh.
He was the first person who introduced video games and stuff to me. And just a little backstory. I grew up with Jordan. He knew me when I was a baby, and I kind of grew up with him. And he kind of showed me the ropes in terms of video games and stuff. But anyway, just a little story about me playing some MMORPGs with him. And one of the very, very first MMORPG I've ever played was on the vein of RuneScape, but it was called Tibia. I don't know do you know what this game
I've
is?
never heard of it.
So,
oh yeah.
do you know what that is?
Oh yeah.
So it's very old, very, very, very old school. It's like, it's not 3D or anything like RuneScape was. It was, like the pixel art, but barely. It was really strange. It wasn't that great looking at all, but it was super old school. This was when I was like, I don't know, I think 12 or something, or 11, I think. So that was like, almost like 13 years ago, whatever, or 10 years ago. But I remember playing that game and exploring that game and like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is the best game ever. Look at these graphics.
They're so good.
Great. But it was my first MMORPG, so I remember when he discussed it to me, I remember Jane being like, yeah, these people, like, that person is from, like, across the world probably, and that person's away, and you could talk to them and stuff. And I remember opening that, I was like, my eyes lit up. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. There's people everywhere. It's like fantasy because I love fantasy stuff. And I remember going around and slaying beasts, and the way you slayed beasts was you right-click them and you press attack. And then it hits and the numbers come up, and you're like, wow, I'm doing stuff. And you kill the rat, and you bring this hide to the dude, and he gives you gold so you can buy more cool stuff. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. So what I'm talking about is, so there's the way you trade, or there's this game called, I can't remember what it was called, but it was in a way where, it was isometric in a way. So everything you moved in like, squares, right? You moved like up and down, right? Whatever, like, top down or whatever. And there's this game where there's 3 tables, and then there's a wall in between, or sorry, 2 tables, and there's a wall in between. And then you can play a game, 3 tables, there's a wall in between the one middle table, and you can stand on either side of the table, right?
And I think worth noting too, what was sitting in the tables in front of you in the stalls were your bank.
No.
No?
This is completely different.
Oh, okay.
So there's 3 tables, and there's a wall in between, and you can put items on the one table and drag it in the middle.
Yeah.
And then the other person, you can quickly drag that item onto your table and then drag it in the middle, and then drag it to your table and drag it in the middle, and someone else can go over to the side and kind of play and see if they can grab it in time.
Yeah, it was almost like gambling.
Yeah, it was almost like gambling. I remember playing that a lot. And I remember I got really messed up because I remember getting something the one time. It was like a really awesome sword or something. And I was like, oh, I got to keep playing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I have a memory of this game, of this exact moment. But I thought maybe you could do this at the banks too. But there were the bank stalls where you had your boxes.
Yeah.
And they had these little spaces between the boxes too, I think, if I remember correctly. And so I was playing this game when I was 10.
Yeah.
So like way too young to be playing an MMO online.
Yeah, I was really too young.
And I just got into MSN Messenger at the same time as well. And I met this guy online, and he was from Spain, I think. So his English wasn't great. and he was quite a bit older than me too, but I don't remember how much older
This is
he
all
was.
kinds of bad.
Oh
No,
yeah,
this
this was my first experience with the internet's not a magical wonderland.
No, it's not.
And he had taken all the contents out of his bank and put it onto his bank stall to be like, hey, look at me, like I have all this good stuff, and like I'll help you get here. And I don't know if he misclicked or what, but he moved it all to the middle section for a sec, and I grabbed all of it.
Oh,
Like, so I had an insane amount of gear, right? And that was the first time I ever got a death threat outside of a video game.
wow.
Like he messaged me on Messenger, and he started talking in Spanish and and a little bit of English here and there, so I could kind of understand what was going on. But yeah, that he was unhappy. And like nowadays, it's kind of like, oh, haha, funny. This guy told me to go whatever. But when you're 10 years old and never experienced that before, it was kind of traumatizing.
now the thing about that game is when you die, it's permadeath. I forgot to mention.
Oh, okay.
It's permadeath. You collect all your stuff. It's on you, but there's like PvP areas and you can kill each other, and steal everyone's. So it was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
For back in that day.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Or maybe that's just how it was played back in the day.
yeah, I'm not
But and that terms of mischief, because that was my story wasn't actually about that. That was a little. Ooh. So basically, there's a little dungeon underneath one of the first places, and if you go a certain route, and there's like a little secret ladder, and me and Jernane we go down there, and when you go down there, there's a little like magical pit. There's it's like a flaming, it's a flaming scion or whatever, like a pillar, and you can walk in it, and it does damage to you and hurts you, and you can die. And I remember me and Jernane walked down there, and we walked down there, and we saw someone like just about to enter it, and he's like, "Oh, what's this?" And then he went in and he died, and all his loot dropped, and me and Jernane were like, And so we took all his stuff, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And then we kind of waited around, and me being like super young, and then both of us being very mischievous, we waited for like a person to come. I remember this very vividly, as we hoaxed and we talked this dude into going into the flames, into this magical flame, and we're like, yeah, well, like he'll grant you levels and give you really cool stuff, and if you go in there, he'll give you like really cool stuff. And I remember me and Jernane just waited for this guy to go in, and what does he do? He walks right in and he dies. And we take all his stuff.
Wow.
And I remember that very vividly. And you know what? The thing is, I'm never that person. I'm not that kind of person. And of course, like 11-year-old me kind of did it. And I don't know why I remember that story so well. And I bet Jernane would be able to elaborate, but he's not here.
You became a bandit.
I became a rebel.
Wow.
I was bad. It's not really a story. I'm not very good at telling stories.
Well,
But
It's a story.
it's interesting in that, like, I find it funny that, I mean, knowing you personally, like, you're not like that at all.
no, I would not do that.
And yeah, I think it's kind of funny. You hear in the news sometimes of like, oh yeah, the video games are gonna make the kids go buy the guns and kill the people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to blanket statement say that's false, but
Yeah.
it's I don't know. Pretty. Yeah, I have opinions on that. But anyways, I find it funny that sometimes when that happens at maybe an age that was too young for you to experience that, right? And it's almost formative, right? Like the fact that you still remember it to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes that interesting.
It's just funny that, me and Jernane, I don't know who, maybe it was just both of us at the same time, just like coaxing this dude to go in this flame. And it was matte. It was like blue. It was like blue, and like didn't look like a flame. It's like sparkly and stuff.
Right.
So we definitely just tricked people. I think we did it like 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
And it was really bad. And it was like a really weird area, so people didn't know what the heck was going on. And we just talked people in there, and they died, and we just stole all their stuff.
Awesome.
They learned very quickly not to trust people on the internet.
That's
for
right.
sure.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's why I'm so careful.
AJ, the OG troll.
Yeah.
I guess so. The thing is, I don't do that ever.
Yeah.
It's so strange. Anyway, that was my story.
Yeah, right on,
Of
man.
being a mischievous little beaver.
Speaking of MMOs, David, did you ever play
Yeah.
any MMO?
My first MMO experience was RuneScape. So
Yeah, it was around the time to be
Yeah.
a RuneScaper.
I played that religiously since like grade 4 until grade 8. Like 4 years of my life, just every day.
Yep.
I never played another one. Okay, that's not true. I played Guild Wars 2 for 2 weeks, and 2 weeks straight, and just got bored and just stopped playing.
Like, just when we're kids, I think we can do that. We can grind the monsters, do that stuff, and we have time to do that.
Maybe, yeah.
You don't. I mean, I have time to play Pillars for like 40 hours, but I mean, at the same time, you can't really like pick up a MMO and play for like 10 minutes. I don't know.
No, I have a lot of MMO experience.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I really want to get back into one, but
I don't.
I just can't find the time.
No, I don't. Like, I don't want to get back into one because I know how much it can suck your life.
I loved my time. Like,
I had fun.
I had some. This is gonna get sad. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's sad. Whatever. Live your own life, guys. But I spent a New Year's in WoW.
Yep.
Which like usually I'm relatively social, but that one year I didn't want to go out, and so I don't remember the name. Ironforge, I think, is the name of the town. The town for the dwarves. I remember standing outside of the town with like 30 people, and we watched. There was like New Year's fireworks going off in the town, and I remember hanging out with those people watching that.
And like social.
Yeah. I never got huge into like the raid groups or whatever, so this wasn't a group of people who I knew. But I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, like, there was an MMO. Like, I played MMOs mostly, in middle school, in like the earlier days of my childhood. So there's a special place in my heart. And like, the number one MMO for me ever is called Ragnarok Online. I don't know if you ever heard about that. It was
I've heard the name.
It's like this I think the graphics still hold up because it's pixels, like a pixel based, and they're like the pixel art is very, very good. It was like a MMO, and they're pixel based characters, but everything else was 3D rendered.
Okay.
And it was like top down isometric, and there's like a class system. And it's your basic MMO, but I played that game religiously for forever, and Jordan and I played that game forever, and I still play it, off and on again because of the art. And and I don't know why it has a certain charm to it, and it's funny because they remade the game called Ragnarok 2, and they made it all 3D, and it was crap. And there's something about the charm with the just the pixel art characters and like monsters and stuff, and the 3D background, just something about it, and the music. I don't know, it was great. So I played that a lot, and I did play WoW as well, but I played that not as much. Because I played it when all my friends were like super high level, and they're like, "Hey, you should play and catch up." And they never played with me. I kind of caught up to like level 60 while they're all level 80.
Right.
And then I just stopped playing.
Yeah, that was my problem with WoW. Like, I never played it seriously. I played it to be in a big open world. I didn't play it to level, and apparently,
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. I want to just make sure I know the name of this. So I played a lot of MMOs as well. I liked the like isometric perspective MMOs were some of my favorites.
Yeah, Ragnarok was like that, yeah.
And I want to see if this is the right name of this. I think it was called Rapples.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you ever...
There's so many MMOs out there.
Yeah, there's...
If you think about it.
It's Rapples. Anyway, something similar. Oh, no, it's not Rapples. Anyways, whatever. I played a ton of 3D isometric ones. I remember this one where it involved buying monsters, and you would like fuse the monsters together in these eggs. It was really cool. Played a lot of MapleStory.
I played a little bit of MapleStory. I played a game, one called Rose Online. I played one of the most recent ones was Terra.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Terra.
I played a bit of that.
I think that was the very first MMO that boasted the action combat.
Yeah.
And they kind of did it. Like, me and Jordan were super excited when we picked that up because like, oh, this is finally an MMO that has action combat that we love.
Yeah.
It didn't. It was okay.
I don't know. I like the combat.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, but it was what you would expect.
I'll forever say that the Dragon's Dogma MMO online combat was insane. Like, I still can't believe how good it was.
So I don't want to play an MMO.
Fair.
I don't.
It's very fair. Would you play games like Destiny?
I did play Destiny. I didn't really play it. I just kind of soloed it, like the campaign. I kind of just did it like a solo.
Yeah, fair.
And then I didn't really do any social things with it, but I didn't have any friends to play with, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Because everyone has different consoles. Everyone's on PC.
Yeah, it's rough now.
I guess Destiny's kind of like a hybrid MMO, so to speak.
Yeah, it's loot driven.
Yeah, I guess if that's the right word for it, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me.
Cool, guys.
What's next, Josh?
So let's talk about something as something.
Oh my gosh.
Something is something. I always have a hard time like rephrasing this into the right form. Bestest voice performance in a game
Ever?
ever.
The thing is, ever, and when we mean ever, it's just our personal opinion.
Yeah.
Ever being our personal opinion, and also so only right now, not ever.
Yeah, I know. Pretty much.
But yeah. So I was thinking we would put our guest on the spot.
All right.
And so, David, what's your bestest voice performance ever?
So my bestest voice performance ever. That sounds so
Ever.
wrong to say.
You don't have to say it like that.
Yeah. Best performance ever. That sounds better. Is Armin Shimmerman. I'm probably butchering his name, but he is the voice actor for Andrew Ryan in BioShock.
Okay, yeah.
So I love BioShock. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. But him as Andrew Ryan, like you got the opening monologue of "I chose the impossible. I chose Rapture." You know, I can't do it justice, but yeah, fantastic voice actor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Did you have any kind of runners up or anything else you were thinking?
Runner up would probably be Nolan North as Drake in Uncharted. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Fair.
Nolan North is just good.
yeah. He's like in everything. Like if you look at
He's in everything.
his voice acting history, like all sorts of different games.
Mm.
It's
Voice actors
crazy.
need to be appreciated way more.
Yes, they
for
do.
what they
Yeah.
For
do.
sure. Yeah.
Hence the voice acting strike,
Yes.
Yes. Oh my
which
gosh.
still sucks, and I think it's still going on.
I haven't heard an
it
end
might
of
be.
it.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard too much about it now. I did.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
hype when it started, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's been resolved yet.
I don't think so. No.
So that's sad.
Okay. So what's yours, Josh?
Mine's going to be David Hayter.
Ooh.
David Hayter is primarily known for his voice of Solid Snake and Big Boss in all of the
Yes.
Metal Gear games. However, notably absent in Metal Gear Solid 5, The
Mhm.
Phantom Pain.
Which was Sutherland?
It was
This-
Kiefer
yeah.
Sutherland, yeah.
Yeah.
Which what I think happened there, because it came out after the game was published that Hayter totally would have done the role, and Konami was being terrible for all of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Konami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, not terrible. They were being Konami. That's a
Yeah.
synonym.
Yeah.
But no, they had decided that I think they wanted a larger name tied to the project, but they didn't want to pay for him.
Oh.
So they
What?
brought in Kiefer Sutherland, but he has, I'm not going to say 20 lines because that's not true, but he has not a whole lot of lines.
Doesn't
No.
talk very much.
He does not talk very much. He gets talked to a lot by Ocelot
Yeah.
and Miller, but doesn't say a whole lot in that game.
No.
And it's just disappointing. And Hayter is such a good Solid Snake that I don't know, man.
That's Solid Snake.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he is
like,
Solid Snake.
He is like
Well,
when the
it's-
voice actor can be that embodied that character, and when you hear him, yeah, that's just what it is.
Yeah. It's like whoever plays the Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell, they changed his voice actor for the
Oh.
most recent one, I want to say. And it takes you out. Like it doesn't sound the same or it doesn't feel the same. David Hayter will always be Snake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a strange one. Unless you're not done.
I'm done.
Wait, actually, I want to know your runners up.
I don't
You
really
have
have
any.
any.
Okay.
I'm not. So one of my faults as a human being is I have a terrible memory for names.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Okay, so the thing is, I don't really play that many games that have like very notable voice actors, or like I play a lot of Japanese type games, so like the dubs aren't very good usually, or their voice acting is not good at all really, or they don't have really notable voice actors. I mean, I know a lot of voice actors from a lot of shows that I watch who are just voice actors, so I know a bunch of voice actors. But it might be a cop out, but I think the most is this supposed to be one person? Because like I feel like when I first played Dark Souls, there's like no one knows any of the voice actors. When I first played Dark Souls, I felt like the voice acting was really good. Maybe that was just me. I don't know, but for me, like a lot of the characters in Dark Souls, I feel like I don't know, their voice actors are just underappreciated for what they do. It might just be me.
Yeah.
But I remember listening to them like, whoa, these are pretty good voice actors.
Yeah. Specifically, I think the actor for Pate in Dark Souls 2,
Mm.
who is actually he's like a very solid B-rate actor. of course I can't remember his name, but
It's okay.
he's good. And the guy who plays Patches in all of them,
Yeah.
is really good as well.
So there's a lot of just random, Dark Souls characters that have such good voice acting, but no one knows who they are.
Yeah,
I don't know who they are, but it's just kind of underappreciated. And like I said, I think voice actors need to be more appreciated.
For sure.
Like, I mean, there's the I haven't played Titanfall 2, but I know Matthew Mercer is like one of my favorite voice actors. But he's in a lot of anime, and he's in a lot of video games. He's McCree in Overwatch.
Oh.
So like he's the dungeon master in my favorite D&D show called Critical Role.
Yep.
And all those people that he DMs for are all voice actors, and I know every single one of them, and they're in so many video games. But so like there's Travis Willingham, who's in in Batman Arkham Asylum. There's Troy Baker. He's in a bunch of video games, but for some reason, the Dark Souls that just kind of stuck out to me for some reason.
That's an interesting one,
and I don't know why. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Because they're not like A-rate like voice actors.
No,
they're just underappreciated.
Peter Serafinowicz. Wow, I don't know how I pulled that out of the top of my head.
Okay,
that's the guy who plays Pate.
Wow. Okay, well there you go, Peter.
There you go.
Peter Serafinowicz.
So if you're listening, I really like, and me and Josh really like your voice.
I thought of a runner-up, and I looked up his name because I wanted to give him some props. Terrence J. Rotolo is his name. He plays Frank West in Dead Rising.
You like that voice?
Dead Rising 1, 2, Case West, and Off the Record. Okay. He doesn't play him in the newer one, so I don't like that guy, whoever he is. No, just kidding. He probably does a fine job, but I don't like Capcom for changing him.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, voice actors are hard to, I'm not I don't know what a good voice actor. Well, I know what a good voice actor is and what they sound like, I guess. But it's kind of hard to think of voice actors.
I think it's much different from like an actor perspective.
Yeah, it would be much different if I knew about that industry a lot more.
Yeah, well, I mean, for an actor, you recognize their face, right?
Right.
For a voice actor, you just got their voice, and it can be hard to narrow down. Like Nolan North is pretty recognizable.
Oh yeah.
But like for smaller voice actors, like you don't know. I mean.
Yeah, the characters end up being much more memorable.
Yeah.
Again, because you're tying that to a face, right?
Yeah.
Than the actual voice actor.
Oh wait, of course I have. Yeah, I totally. Now that I think about it, if you've ever played Last of Us, I think Joel, so Troy Baker,
yes,
and I'm gonna Ashley Johnson, who is Ellie. Ashley Johnson is also on Critical Role. Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker are like amazing voice actors, and now that I think about it, The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Just the game.
Just the game.
Yeah.
Just the game itself. Those two together, tandem. If you play Last of Us, their voices and they just drive the story. So I feel like now that I think about it now, Last of Us.
Cool.
Oh my gosh.
Going back to
I'm an idiot.
Going back to your Dark Souls, I think why you don't remember the voice actors, so to speak, is because you don't really play Dark Souls for the voice act, like
right.
the story, right?
Right.
You can argue with me if you want. That's fine.
Depends.
Yeah, I mean, some people are super into the lore.
That's why I love Dark Souls, because you can choose that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super into like the combat and whatnot.
Yeah, Dark Souls is an experience. The experience is what you make it.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to talk about Dark. We need a segment.
We do. We need so many segments.
Yes, we
It
do.
just makes me happy because we're not going to run out of content.
No, exactly.
But yeah, no, I could do a whole show on,
Me too.
on Dark Souls.
Me too. Just like the whole Soul series, I could definitely break them down and all that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, so good. Speaking of actually special shows, in a few weeks coming up here, we won't be able to record an episode.
Oh, no.
So I was thinking, and maybe those of you who like to write in can write in and let me know what you think about this.
Please write in.
About us doing a preemptive recording of us playing a game called Fiasco.
Ooh.
Fiasco is a tabletop role-playing game, which is where we make a movie together in the style of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch,
Yep.
Ooh.
if you're into those kind of movies. So the way it works is you sit in a circle, and every person around you create relationships with. So like AJ and I might be,
Lovers.
or like ex lovers who like so you come up with a backstory and then you come up with a connection. So like we could be ex lovers, but like we share a boatload of cocaine that we need to get rid of.
Cocaine.
And like our need is to get rich. And then David and I could be like, I don't know, we could be ex crooks who we want to, like, our goal in life is to pull off that one last big heist.
Yes.
And then you do a little bit of role playing, and depending on the other people kind of judge your role play, and they give you die, like a good die or a bad die. And then you start rolling these dice, and it kind of affects the outcome of your story. And then there's one big twist at the end that you throw in to give it like the big climax.
We played a couple.
Yeah, we played a few in our local play group, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a ton of fun.
It is a ton of fun.
If that's something you guys would want to hear, let us know. AJ, where can they get a hold of us?
At parttimealliesmail@gmail.com.
Yeah, parttimealliesmail@gmail.com.
Since I'm a listener, I would be totally into that.
Okay, cool.
That'd be fantastic.
Wow, we just got instant feedback.
Instant feedback.
Wow, we should get that more often.
Wow.
We should just have guests on this, like one guest
panel?
on the side. Yeah, a panel.
Yeah.
If we're prestigious enough,
Wow.
and we get far enough, we'll have a panel.
Yeah.
Or you just record the show on Twitch, and then Twitch is your panel.
Yeah.
No,
no.
don't.
No, let's not. We'll have 2 viewers.
Not even that. I mean, Twitch chat is
Oh, well, it's also cancer.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but I mean, Twitch chat is a bit interesting sometimes.
No, yeah,
that's what I was.
Do that. But yeah, if that's something you're interested in, let us know.
It's got to find a time to do that, though.
Yeah.
Because you're next week, July 16th?
No, it ended up getting pushed, so it'll be a few weeks after that.
Oh, okay, so in a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay, cool.
Not sure yet, though. I'll let us know.
Sounds good.
So, talk was for thought.
Oh.
Let's talk about, what do you like about a game?
Oh my! What do you mean? What do you mean, Josh?
That's as vague as you want it to be, AJ.
Oh my gosh!
What draws you in? What are some factors that let you say, like, this is a game I want to play, or if it's a game you have played, where you can say, this is a game that was special to me because of X, Y, or Z?
So, I mean, I'm assuming like most of us have different tastes, right? And
I hope so.
yeah, I hope so too. I've played a lot of games. Are we starting with me? I don't know.
Let's do this. Let's get the creative juices flowing here. Just give me 3 games. They don't have to be the actual real AJ's top 3 list, but what do your top 3 games go? Real quick.
Oh no. You can't put it as well, like Shadow Colossus.
Yep.
Monster Hunter.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, cool. Those are 3 very different games.
Very.
Sure, I think. No, Dark Souls is on there too.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure, 4. It doesn't matter. What are the similarities? What are the differences? What brings you to those 4 games? Why are those games AJ?
Well, what are the connections? What did I say? I said Monster Hunter, I said Kingdom Hearts, and I said
Dark
Souls and
Shadow Colossus.
And Shadow Colossus. And Shadow Colossus.
Yeah, 4, whatever.
So, I mean, they're all fantasy, right?
Yep.
Yes.
That's true.
So, I mean, I grew up playing fantasy games. So, I mean, for me, fantasy is a really big draw for me.
All right.
I mean, what I like about games, I mean, in a sense, I almost want to talk about how we got into games. But, I mean, that's not our tacos, is it?
No, it's not.
I mean, that's another
Maybe
tacos.
that's next week's taco.
Oh, I like that one. I like that. We
Yeah.
talk about the guacamole. About that one. But what I like about them, I think for me, it's such a hard question. Because when I sit down and I play a video game, it's hard to think of like what I want to accomplish. Because sometimes, when I get near like to the end of a game, I kind of just want to beat it. I don't really care anymore. I just want to beat it. But what, during it, I don't know if I like what I'm. This is a hard question for me.
Okay. Well,
talk to me, Josh.
Yeah. I'll give you some examples as to what draws me in.
Okay.
So one of my huge ones is the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm going to say specifically 5 because it's the most modern, and it does this. David's making a face. It does this in a way in which. So let me explain
So
myself.
strange. Such a strange game.
The sound from when Snake is going in the standing position to the crouch position.
Okay, yeah.
Is the best. Like the game is visceral. You know exactly what's going on at all times, right? the sound of the binocs coming out, or like the zooming into a scope, or the like. That game is so. I think what the term I'm looking for here is immersive. Like it just does all of the right things for me. That it's like, oh yeah, this is a tight like. This is a military shooter package where I feel in control, and games like that end up being the best for me. So, Dark Souls is another one of those things where it's like, or Bloodborne, I think is even more tight, and like I know the inputs I'm giving and like the visceral feedback I'm getting from the game are exactly what I want to be getting. Right? Like I feel like I'm in the moment. I'm doing the things I want to be doing.
You're in control.
Shadow of the Colossus does that for me. Monster Hunter does that for me too. I think it's a mix of. There's a skill underlying component there and a polish in the game where it's like the things that I'm doing them. It's not the game. It's not like a QTE. I'm doing these cool things.
Right.
And the game is reacting in a way in which I want it to be reacting. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
No, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
that for me is like the
skill based in a way. Immersive.
Skill based. It's rewarding. And
Yep.
and it's a tight package. Like so, I don't like Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, I don't like
Yep.
this.
I would say is a skill based game. I hate that game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not for me.
I don't like that game.
Not for me.
I like Super Meat Boy, but it's frustrating. I don't know. Hard games
Binding of Isaac.
get me a little irritated sometimes, but
So many
Yeah,
games
fair.
I love.
yeah.
So many genres.
What about you, David?
What about me? What draws me into a game? So you want my top 3?
So if that, I mean, that was just kind of like a mental exercise.
Why
if
don't you
that
just
helps
throw
you
out some
get thinking
games
about
that
it.
you like?
Me or
Yeah,
David?
just throw, no, Josh. I want to know just a few more games that you like.
Dead Rising, Dark Souls, Monster Hunter, Shadow of the Colossus, Nier, Dragon's Dogma.
There's more, but yeah.
There's more, but yeah, that's kind of the
Now
base.
throw some out,
the basics
David.
of me. Bloodborne.
I want to get to see what kind of
Oh.
games you play.
So Witcher 3 in my top 3.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
BioShock. And I just changed this on the fly. Alien Isolation,
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
which is
be good
a
friends
bit
with
off the
Jordan.
board. Yeah. So I guess for me, what draws me into a game is I kind of have 2 things that work for me. One, the story is interesting. I can connect with it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And the mechanics are also really good. So, like Alien Isolation, I don't like it for the story itself is great. Like it's not the best story ever, but the mechanics itself are what draw me into that game. Like the feeling of hopelessness or helplessness, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the AI design of the alien is also like exceptional. And then there's the other spectrum with The Witcher 3, which is totally story based.
Mm-hmm.
It's still got great mechanics. I think,
Oh yeah.
I think for me, I can forgive a weaker story as long as the mechanics are fantastic. But I can't forgive bad mechanics, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what draws me in.
Okay, that gives me an interesting counterpoint. Deadly Premonition is one of my top games.
Yeah.
That game is a terrible nonsense mess in terms of mechanics.
Yes.
But what that game does, yeah, okay. The more I'm thinking about this, the more I want to reword what I've said.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like the story behind the making of the game. So, like, the reason Deadly Premonition is interesting to me and the reason I want to proliferate it as much as I do is that game is essentially what a Japanese game designer came to Middletown, America, sat in a motel and only watched Twin Peaks, and then that was what he thought Western America culture was like.
Okay.
Went back to Japan and made a game about it.
Okay.
That's what Deadly Premonition is.
Okay.
And to me, that's amazing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I haven't played it. I've seen it. Like you've shown me clips and whatnot, and I've seen it. And I'm like, this is so bad. Like it's almost like it's almost so bad it's good. I guess is the best way to describe Deadly Premonition.
Yeah, it's very much like The Room
Yeah.
in that way.
Yeah.
But it actually has a gripping story. Like I don't get emotional a lot with media. I got emotional at the end of
Interesting.
Deadly Premonition.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess coming back to me,
Yeah. What do you
I
got?
think it's tough. I think this question is actually really tough for me. And I think it reflects on who I am as a person as well, because my hobbies are very broad.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many hobbies, and so for me, I've a lot of games. They're all different genres. I've played MMOs. I mean, not my favorite. I've played MOBAs. They've been really good to me. But I'm 2 years sober, like I said before. Like roguelikes, FTL.
Yeah.
Binding of
Yeah.
Isaac. I love like Last of Us, like it's very story driven. I love dungeon crawler games like Diablo.
Mhm.
Monster Hunter is very grindy, but I love it.
Mhm.
Mechanics are cool. Kingdom Hearts is a good story. Shadow Colossus, and like I think I don't know how to answer this one. It's really hard because I feel like
Yeah.
for me, when I like a game, I want this feeling again. I've been getting these feelings before, lately, but it's been few and far between now. Is that I play a game, and then I play it for a little while, I'm stuck on it or whatever. I'm really into it. Like I stop the game, go to bed, head to work, and I'm thinking about that game.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Mhm.
moment I start thinking about that game and wanting to play it when I get home, that's when I know that's a game I like. That's when I know I think
Cool.
for me. So it's hard because since I said I love all these genres, it's really hard for me. I guess it's something about me in that game just has to connect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just has to connect. Just like with me in like anime like that. Like the first episode's got to grip me.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or else I don't really watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's really strange for me.
I found some anime I have to get like 3 episodes deep before.
That's the rule, but I don't follow it sometimes. That's the rule.
Speaking of which, did you watch any Gurren Lagann yet?
No.
Oh, AJ, come on.
I've been watching other animes, but
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Right on. One last one I want to add into for mine was Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
It,
Oh, yeah.
it really hits those buttons of like, this is a quality piece of work that also has a sick atmosphere.
It's just so strange. Oh, Skyrim too. See,
we
I love
could
all
talk
these
about
things.
this for so
Yeah.
long. But yeah, right on, guys.
That's a hard one.
That's a hard one.
It is. It's really hard to identify what your actual tastes
Exactly,
are.
because
Yeah.
like I said, it reflects me as a person.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have so many like things that I love. So
Well, for those of you listening at home, if you think about more concrete ideas about
like
what makes you like a game, write on in because we would love to know.
I'm sure there's people that know exactly what
Mm.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Fair.
All right, what's our next segment?
Well, let's move on to email.
what? It's already that time?
Yeah, it's email time.
Oh my gosh.
I my brain started filling in an email jingle, and I almost started making the jingle with my mouth. But you don't want to hear
Tune
me.
in next week.
You don't want to hear
when
me
we have our jingle for
sing
emails.
at all. Should we do that?
No. That was really quick. No.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
shut down.
So we only have 2 emails this week.
Oh.
Ironically enough, one of them is from somebody who we're featuring as a special guest.
Well, who would that be?
That's you, David.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought it would be funny if we got David to read his own email.
Absolutely.
So could you do that for us?
It's so
Can-
strange to have a listener.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you
like-
can you listener read your own listener email?
Yeah. Like I said, guys, just keep writing in and they'll put you on the show. just keep doing it. So, hi, guys. Great
Hi.
third episode.
We can have live conversations.
Yeah,
Hey, what's
yeah.
up?
Loved Jordane's story about anger in video games. Very
you.
relatable story.
He's not here.
Oh, I know he's not. That's okay. Jordane, wherever you are listening to this, I loved your story. This goes into my own story. While playing the original Dark Souls, I actually smashed and broke my controller because I kept dying to Ornstein and Smog.
Yeah.
Classic.
I hate those. I honestly hate those two.
Terrible solo.
Yeah. I am also known to scream a wide variety of profanities while playing video games. For the most part, though, I'm pretty mild-tempered. But when it comes to video games, sometimes I just lose my mind for some reason. I don't know why that is. I'm sure we can all relate to that somehow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As for the awkwardest dialogue in video game, for me, it goes to this scene in Devil May Cry. Great job as always. Looking forward to the next episode. And my name, David. Yeah,
Thanks, David.
no
Thanks,
problem.
David. We're gonna play it.
Yeah. So he presented a clip,
Yeah.
and we're gonna play it.
Cool.
So this is David's. Oh no. Oh no, it isn't.
Oh, is it not cute?
This is David's
Oh, there we go.
most awkward dialogue.
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So this is from Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I believe it's the first one.
So can you describe the scene?
Not really, because my friend just told me about this, and so I've never played the original Devil May Cry, but
Okay.
My friend was telling me about it, and he was like, "Here, just check out the scene," and it just stuck with me. The incredible voice acting that goes on, much like the Titus and is it Final Fantasy 11?
That's 10.
10, yeah.
What Jordan talked about, yeah.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
The horrible laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a game I personally played, but I saw that clip and I'm like, I got to throw this because
bad.
this is awful.
Fair enough.
It's very bad. That's a good choice, though.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was the way he says light, and then they just echo it in the room.
Yeah.
It's so good. All right. So we only have one more email today, and it is from longtime listener Chrissy.
Oh my gosh. It's been 2 years. Thank you again, Chrissy.
It's been 2 years. Oh gosh. Okay, so let's read this thing.
Okay.
Hey Josh, AJ, Ryan, and Jordan.
And David.
and David now too,
And David. I'm sure she'll write in next week about
Yeah.
how great you were, David.
Yeah, exactly.
or the other way, but that's okay.
Or you'll write in about how
Maybe
great
I'll
you were.
write
Are
plugging
you gonna
myself.
write it?
Who
Just
was this David guy?
amazing.
Him and I
really good.
think the exact same way. All right. So first off, thanks again for accompanying me on my Monday drive. You guys are not not my only podcast, but
What?
you are one of my favorites.
There you go.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's great. I feel like your podcast is very heartfelt and real, just like sitting around and talking with some good friends about things you love. And I think your podcast captures that very well. I think that's literally what we're doing.
Yeah.
is sitting in a circle.
And yeah, talking for a while.
Yeah, and she says in parentheses here, if that's what you're going for, I hope so, because this is a compliment, trust me. It is, and we appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Speaking of, if you're wondering on how I found your podcast, it was honestly pretty random. I was just looking on iTunes for a new podcast to listen to, and your logo caught my eye.
Thank you.
AJ.
I'm gonna work on it, though.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, we're doing a little bit of a media revamp. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, we are.
We are? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then I pressed play and heard that lovely chiptune music. Also AJ.
Oh, thank you.
Hey-yo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And was pretty impressed in the quality of the production, considering on how new it was. Thank you. We are trying our best with what we have available to us,
Yeah.
So hard.
and we're doing all right. We don't.
Yeah.
Our studio isn't amazing,
No.
but it's better than
works.
nothing. So
Make do with
it's
what you
working.
got.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that is my adventurous story on how this crazy Californian found your podcast randomly. So thanks, Chrissy. We
Thanks.
appreciate you tuning in. So some discussion and notes on this week's podcast, or last week's podcast. Ew, Transformers. Thank you. Somebody understands.
Yeah.
I did not like those movies very much. They were okay, but nothing more than popcorn watching when it comes to Netflix kind of movies.
Very true.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Chrissy's favorite movie, hands down, is the Studio Ghibli film Spirited Away.
I didn't like that movie. Sorry.
What? Oh, I haven't seen it. I've only heard amazing things, but I
Okay.
haven't seen it. So
It was okay.
Okay.
We'll get into it another time. But
Interesting.
It wasn't my favorite one.
Spirited Away isn't usual, but that's why it's amazing. Vivid animation, whimsical atmosphere,
Yes.
endearing characters, great story and music. It is simply perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
okay.
I have to watch it. I've been putting it off for a long time.
I guess I need to watch it too because I've never even heard of it.
It's anime.
Oh, well, I can
Anime.
try.
Is it? Is it anime
It's
or
an
animated?
It's animated movie, so it's an anime movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can try.
Cool.
Just standalone thing. You don't need to it's like any other movie. It's just
Okay.
animated.
Yeah. Of course, Game of Thrones is my favorite TV show right now, but I don't,
Yeah.
quote, celebrate it like you guys. None of my girlfriends watch that show at all. They
Oh.
think it's too gory or too scary, so I just sort of watch it by
Oh,
myself
no.
on Sundays. Well, that's too bad.
Oh.
I feel like, I don't know if Game of Thrones is a get-together with your friends show, but because it's the only way I've ever watched that show,
I don't think it is really. Like it's
maybe we're just the weirdos, AJ.
No, I don't think so. Because there's so many people that I know that do it. So
it's weird.
I don't know.
I do the same thing. I watch it by myself, and
Mm.
I don't know. I could watch it with other people that like aren't into it as well.
See,
like-
because so AJ and I both watch it with different groups of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although this year I might end up watching it
Watch
with
with
you
us?
guys. I'm not
Cool.
sure. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Sick.
happens. But so the group that I watch it with, we watch it, and then we spend
Yeah.
pretty much a whole hour afterwards talking about the episode. It's great. I love it so
Interesting.
much.
it's the best part. So I'm sad you're missing out, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Because maybe you can email us
That's right.
Talk about it with us.
Ooh, when Game of Thrones season comes in,
Yeah, talk to us
we'll
about
have
it.
little
Yeah.
week postponed segments we can talk about.
Yeah,
Cool.
let's do it.
She just started watching Attack on Titan, and she says it's so good. It is so good. David,
Yeah, I know you're plugging that.
Yeah,
I'm on episode 4 now, and it's such a roller coaster. Thank you guys so much for recommending.
You're welcome.
Was Attack on Titan the anime we ended up recommending as like the intro anime for people?
Yeah.
maybe
It was?
one of them.
Yeah, I know because you've talked to me a lot about it.
Yeah.
The Attack on Titan.
It's really good.
Yeah.
The most awkward dialogue was obviously Josh's, but that's only because he had the advantage of actually showing it on air.
Ooh.
So fair.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
it is pretty awkward.
Yeah.
though.
For bad.
Yeah.
For bad.
But I can see how Jordane's could also be pretty bad.
I didn't win this.
What was Jordan's again?
His
Final
was
Fantasy.
Final Titus.
Ha,
Oh
ha,
yeah,
ha.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again. Keep up the good work. And I'll see if I can spread some of the love over here in Cali. But like I said, a lot of my friends aren't really into this kind of stuff. From Chrissy. Thanks, Chrissy.
Ah,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Chrissy.
Thanks for
Number
writing
one
in.
fan.
It's between you and David.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, Chrissy, just keep emailing in. You'll get here eventually.
Oh,
gosh.
Road trip.
Road trip.
We could have a podcast where all of our emailers are all on the podcast.
Mike.
We have enough mics.
I think so.
Yeah, we could
We
do
can
that.
we can do that.
Definitely do it.
Oh gosh.
Our full 5 listeners.
It'd be,
Shots-
it'd be
shots fired.
amazing.
Hey,
Let's spread the love.
it would be so much fun.
It would be awesome. No, it'd be great.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm here. This is great.
that's right. Speaking of Dark Souls, actually, David, have you beaten it?
I have never beaten any of the Dark Souls.
Oh.
So to go with my controller smashing story,
Mm-hmm.
playing the original Dark Souls, like Ornstein and Smog is the wall for me. I cannot get past it.
Oh,
And yeah,
you've never been past that?
no,
Oh.
never.
Wow.
That's where that game really opens up.
I know. That's
So-
what people have been telling me, and I get to Ornstein and Smog and die a lot.
Do you not want to summon people?
No, I summon people all the time. We just
What?
we just die. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Oh.
interesting.
it's very interesting. Maybe I'm just really bad, and
Maybe, because I'm pretty bad too, but I got
Oh.
past it.
Okay,
yeah.
keep talking. I want to pull up a clip.
Okay.
So that's the wall.
So have you played all the Souls games?
I've played 1 and 2. I haven't touched 3 yet.
Three's really good.
Every time the Souls game comes out, like, oh, I'll have to beat the previous one before I start playing the next one.
Oh, you get. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that didn't happen with Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
But I got, where did I get up into Dark Souls 2? I got past the Looking Glass Knight, I believe it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Or no, sorry, I'm the dragon part, the red dragon, the guardian dragon, I think it is.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know why I just like I kind of got bored at the game a little bit because I was playing it like every day, like binging it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And so I just kind of got like, I'll take a break for a bit, and haven't picked it up since. So
yeah.
So you know the boss fight right before you get to Ornstein and Smo? Do you remember who that is?
the giant dragon thing.
The Iron Golem.
Oh, the Iron Golem. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So another Canadian content creator, Super Best Friends Play. Have you guys heard of them?
Yeah. I heard of them.
No.
Okay. So they do a podcast similar to us. They also do a lot of gameplay videos and stuff. And one of their series is one of their guys, Wooly, going through all the Dark Souls games with Pat, and Pat's one of their like seasoned veterans. And so there's kind of a known trick to veterans of the game where if you're fighting the Iron Golem, you can summon an NPC phantom to help you fight,
Right.
whose name is Black Iron Tarkus. Tarkus is so cool. Yeah. So when they get into the fight, Pat says to Wooly, "Don't fight this guy. Just watch."
Tarkus. Wow. This is the only summon in the entire game I've universally seen people, or most people, tell me, make sure the summons that time. Here's my advice to you. Yes? Lay back. Just hang back. No, just hang back. Just chill out. You don't need to do it.
So they're in the boss room right now, and Wooly's just walking away.
Tarkus! No way!
Tarkus.
Wait, come on. Really?
So he's one of my favorite NPCs. We talked about. That was like one of my runners up for the very first episode.
Oh, really? No way.
Was it? It was one of them. Tarkus, Black Iron Tarkus.
So in that scene, that the Iron Golem has a mechanic where if you hit his legs enough, he'll fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens in that scene is Tarkus is near the area. The arena is a tall column, and the Iron Golem is near the end, and Tarkus hits him and puts him into that state,
An NPC.
and just knocks him off the edge of the boss fight arena. So that's where they start screaming, Tarkus, Tarkus, because he just
Awesome.
I think everyone in
his-
the Souls community loves Tarkus.
he's the best.
He's the best. He looks cool.
Yeah,
He wields a great sword, and
gosh,
he's just the coolest.
yeah, that was
Fantastic.
so much fun.
He's just the coolest. It's
Yeah,
just it's very challenging.
Yeah, I was listening to that and I'm like, I think I know what just happened, and yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I'd recommend to go on YouTube because that's a
Yeah.
video you got to check out.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
For tuning into episode 4
Thank you guys.
of the Part-Time Allies Part-Time Podcast.
Are we leaving?
We're near the end.
We're
Is
done.
it that time?
This is it. AJ, do you want to tell us what our email is?
It's parttimealliesmail@gmail.com.
Hey, thanks so much. And like I said, thank you so much for listeners. Thank you so much to David
Thanks,
for joining
David.
us.
Thanks for joining
It's
us.
been fun.
Long-time listener, first-time podcaster.
2 years.
It's been great. And we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Out.